After her ex chose her sister, she took revenge with the Italian Mafia boss. What happened next left the entire ballroom in shock.
Welcome to my library. I'm Lena, and our story is just beginning.
I can feel every eye in the room turn toward us the moment we step through the doorway. Not toward me, toward him, toward the man whose arm I'm holding like it's the most natural thing in the world, when 3 weeks ago, I didn't know he existed. And 2 weeks ago, I thought using him like this made me exactly as terrible as the people who destroyed me. But tonight I don't care about terrible. Tonight I care about power, and the man beside me radiates it like some people radiate warmth or charm or any other soft human quality. Domenico Santoro doesn't do soft. He does dangerous and beautiful, and so controlled that the air itself seems to bend around him when he moves. The Don. That's what people call him when they think he's not listening, which is naive because men like him are always listening, always watching, always 3 steps ahead of whatever game you think you're playing. The music keeps going, some string quartet playing something classical and expensive, but the conversations die, one by one, like dominoes falling in slow motion. First the people nearest the entrance, then the ones who notice their neighbors have gone silent, then everyone else as the realization spreads that Domenico Santoro just walked into their precious gala with a woman on his arm, with me on his arm. I'm wearing a dress I couldn't afford, deep red, the kind of red that doesn't apologize for existing. It fits like it was made for me because it was made for me. Domenico sent his tailor to my apartment 3 days ago, with instructions to create something that would make me feel like I owned the room. I laughed when the tailor said that, told him I'd settle for not feeling like I wanted to disappear. He created both somehow. My sister sees us first. I watch her freeze mid-sip, the champagne glass hovering at her lips like she forgot how to complete the motion. Her eyes go wide, then wider. Then she's looking at me like I'm a ghost. She thought she'd successfully buried. Good, let her feel haunted for once. Marcus is beside her. Of course he is. They're always together now, touching, laughing, making sure everyone knows they're a couple, making sure I know. Like the knife they put in my back wasn't deep enough, so they have to keep twisting it just to be sure. He sees us next, goes pale, actually pale, like all the blood just drained from his face and pooled somewhere around his expensive shoes. They're holding hands, standing there in the middle of the ballroom like they have every right to be happy, like they didn't destroy someone to build their happiness, like betrayal is just another word for love when you're desperate enough to justify it. I feel Domenico's hand settle at the small of my back, light touch, barely there, but it burns through the fabric of my dress and reminds me why I'm here, why I called him, why I said yes when he offered to be exactly what I needed without asking for explanations I wasn't ready to give. Breathe, his voice is low, close to my ear. The kind of intimate proximity that makes people wonder what he's saying, makes people imagine. You're not here to collapse. You're here to show them exactly what they lost. I breathe, force air into lungs that want to close, force my spine straight, force my chin up, force myself to remember that I'm not the broken girl who cried for 3 months after finding them together. I'm the woman who decided she was done being broken. We walk into the room, not fast, not slow, just steady and inevitable like a storm that's been building on the horizon and finally decided to make landfall. People move out of our way without realizing they're moving, creating a path, giving space, offering deference to the man beside me whether they want to or not. Domenico doesn't acknowledge them, doesn't nod or smile or make small talk, just walks like he owns every inch of this building and everyone in it, and maybe he does. I don't actually know what he does for a living, just that he's powerful and wealthy and dangerous in ways that most people only whisper about. When I called him 2 days ago and asked if he'd come to this gala with me, he didn't ask why, didn't ask who I was trying to impress or hurt or destroy, just said yes in that quiet way of his that makes yes sound like a promise and a threat simultaneously. We stop in the center of the room, right where everyone can see us. Right where my sister and Marcus are standing, frozen like someone hit pause on their lives. I look at them, not Marcus, her first, my sister, the person I trusted more than anyone, the person who knew every secret and fear and dream I had, the person who decided those secrets were ammunition and those dreams were laughable and my trust was something to exploit when she wanted what I had. She's beautiful tonight. She always is. That's part of why it hurts so much. She didn't steal Marcus because she's desperate or broken or needs validation. She stole him because she could, because taking things from me is apparently her favorite hobby. Domenico leans down, his breath warm against my ear, his voice carrying that edge of amusement that suggests he's enjoying this more than he should. She's terrified. Good. I don't look away from my sister, watch her squirm under my gaze. She should be. And him? Domenico straightened slightly. Not much. Just enough that I can feel the shift in his posture, the way he's suddenly more alert, more focused. What about the man who thought you were disposable? Marcus, my ex-boyfriend, the man I loved. The man I thought I'd marry. The man who promised forever and delivered exactly 8 months before deciding my sister was more interesting. He's not worth the energy. The words taste bitter, but true. She can have him. Generous of you. There's something dark in Domenico's voice now. Something that makes my spine tingle. Personally, I think she got the worst deal. But then I'm biased. I turn to look at him. Big mistake. He's too close. Too intense. Those dark eyes that seem to see through every defense I've built. The sharp jaw. The perfect suit that probably costs more than my car. The way he looks at me like I'm the only person in this room worth his attention. Biased how? My voice comes out breathier than intended. I prefer women who fight back. His smile is slight, dangerous. Your sister strikes me as someone who only knows how to take. You strike me as someone who's about to teach her the cost of taking the wrong things. The chemistry between us is insane. I felt it that first day we met. Some random afternoon when I was trying to breathe through another panic attack in a coffee shop, and he sat down across from me like he had every right to intrude on my misery. We talked, laughed, connected in ways that felt too easy to be real, and now he's here, standing beside me, making my ex-boyfriend look small and my sister look invisible, making me feel powerful for the first time in months. Shall we? He offers his arm again. I believe there are more people in this room who need to see exactly what your sister and her stolen boyfriend are missing. I take his arm, let him guide me deeper into the gala, feel every eye following us, every whisper starting, every assumption forming about who I am and who he is, and what this means. Let them assume, let them whisper, let them wonder. Tonight, I'm not the girl who got betrayed. I'm the woman who showed up with the most dangerous man in the room and made everyone remember that being underestimated is a choice I no longer accept. Domenico leans close again. That same intimate proximity, that same dangerous warmth. Ready to make them truly uncomfortable. Always. His laugh is quiet. Genuine. Good. Because this is where the fun begins. And as we walk past my sister and Marcus, as Domenico's hand slides from my back to my waist in a possessive gesture that's impossible to misinterpret, as I see the absolute devastation on both their faces, I realize something important. I didn't come here for revenge. I came here to remember what it feels like to be wanted by someone who doesn't need to steal to get what they want. And the man beside me, he's making me remember exactly that.
3 weeks ago, she was crying. Now, she's in a red dress with the most dangerous man in the city. That's the kind of plot twists we love.
Chapter 2. What she felt for him. The past that hurts. I loved Marcus the way you love things you think will last forever. Not the dramatic kind of love that burns fast and leaves scars. The quiet kind. The kind that builds slowly over Sunday mornings and shared grocery lists and arguments about which Netflix show to start next. The kind where you stop seeing the person as separate from your future because they've become the foundation of it. We met at a bookstore. How pathetically romantic. He was reaching for the same thriller I wanted, and we both laughed. And he said I could have it if I'd let him buy me coffee to discuss it after. 3 years later, I still had that book. Never finished it. Too busy living the story I thought we were writing together. He wasn't flashy. Didn't make grand gestures. Just showed up. Remembered things. Made me feel like I was the kind of person worth remembering. I thought that was enough. I thought reliability was the same as devotion. Turns out you can show up every day and still be planning your exit. I'm thinking about this now because Domenico just asked me something, and I'm stalling because the truth is complicated and humiliating, and I don't want to say it out loud in the middle of a ballroom full of people who probably already know the story. You're quiet. He's guiding me toward the bar. His hand hasn't left my waist. Regretting bringing me. Regretting everything except bringing you. The honesty surprises me. I'm just remembering what it felt like before. Before. He signals the bartender with 2 fingers. Doesn't ask what I want. Somehow knows I need something stronger than champagne. Before tonight, or before them. Before I knew my sister was capable of that. The words taste like poison. She was my person. You know that feeling? When someone knows you so well that being around them is like being alone but better? That was Sophie. My little sister who I raised half the time because our parents worked constantly. My best friend who knew every password and embarrassing story and secret fear I had. The bartender sets down 2 glasses, something amber and expensive. Domenico slides one toward me. Drink, then tell me what happened. I drink. It burns perfectly. I came home early from work. Forgot my laptop charger. Stupid mundane reason to walk in on your entire life detonating. They were on my couch. The couch I picked out. The apartment I paid most of the rent for. Not having sex. Worse. They were laughing, like they'd just finished and were basking in the afterglow of their excellent decision-making. Domenico's jaw tightens. I notice because I'm watching watching him instead of looking at the memory playing in my head. What did you do? Nothing dramatic. Didn't throw things or scream or demand explanations. Just stood there while they scrambled to look guilty. Sophie started crying immediately. Marcus started explaining how it just happened and didn't mean anything and they never wanted to hurt me. All the greatest hits of cheater logic. I finished the drink, set it down too hard. I left. Went to a hotel, cried for 3 days straight, came back to pack my things and found out they'd already moved her stuff in, like I was never even there. How long ago? His voice is controlled, but there's something underneath, something sharp. 6 months. They've been together ever since. Public Proud posted their 6-month anniversary on Instagram last week with a caption about how real love finds you when you least expect it. The laugh that comes out is broken. I stopped checking social media after that. Smart. Domenico turns to face me fully. We're still at the bar, but now his back is to the room, and I'm boxed in between him and the counter, not trapped, protected. And you loved him. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. I thought I did. Now I think I loved the idea of him. The safety, the future that looked exactly like I was supposed to want. House in the suburbs, kids eventually, book club with other couples, the whole domesticated dream. I meet his eyes. I was so fucking boring. You weren't boring. You were trusting. Different thing. His hand comes up, brushes my cheek with the back of his knuckles. Casual touch that feels anything but casual. They took advantage of that. Made you think the problem was you being too stable, instead of them being too selfish. Sophie said I was always the golden child, that everyone loved me more, that I never had to fight for anything. The memory makes my throat tight. And said taking Marcus was just balancing the scales. Your sister is a child playing grown-up games. Domenico's thumb traces my jawline. She didn't balance anything. She revealed who she really is. Jealous. Small. Desperate for validation she thinks she can steal from you. You figured that out fast. I've known women like her. Hell, I've known men like her. People who take because they don't know how to build. He leans closer, voice dropping. You want to know what I saw when you walked in tonight? What? I'm barely breathing. A woman who's been trying so hard to make sense of senseless cruelty that she forgot she's allowed to be angry about it. His eyes search mine. You're not here for revenge. You're here to remember you have every right to take up space in rooms that tried to erase you. He's wrong about one thing. I absolutely want revenge. But the rest hits so accurately it makes my chest ache. I wanted to hurt them. The confession comes out quiet. I saw they were coming tonight. Saw Sophie post about her dress and how excited she was. And I thought about staying home, about letting them have this, about being mature and moving on and all the things people tell you to do when someone destroys you. But he's smiling slightly, like he knows where this is going. But fuck mature. Fuck moving on. Fuck letting them think they can parade around like what they did was fine. I'm getting louder. Don't care. I wanted them to see me happy. Wanted them to see me with someone who makes Marcus look like exactly what he is. A coward who settled for the easier sister because the complicated one scared him. So you called me. Domenico's smile widens. The most dangerous man you know. The one who makes people nervous just by existing. The one who could buy and sell everyone in this room, including your ex, and not notice the expense. I called you because you're the only person who didn't look at me like I was broken when I told you what happened. The truth again. Easier this time. We met once, talked for 2 hours, and you gave me your number and said if I ever needed someone who wouldn't judge me for feeling what I feel, call. So I called. Best decision you've made in 6 months. He takes my empty glass, sets it aside. Now, we've established you loved him. We've established they're terrible people. We've established you're angry and hurt and perfectly justified in both. What we haven't established is what you want from tonight. I want them to feel small. No hesitation. I want Sophie to look at me and realize she didn't win anything. I want Marcus to see what he gave up and choke on it. Done and done. Domenico offers his arm again. But here's what's going to happen. We're not going to storm over there. We're not going to confront them directly. We're going to do something much worse. What's worse than confrontation? Indifference. His eyes gleam. We're going to have the best night of your life. We're going to laugh and dance and make everyone in this room wonder how the hell you landed me. We're going to be so genuinely engaged with each other that your sister and her stolen boyfriend become irrelevant background noise. And when they finally work up the courage to approach us, you're going to smile and introduce me and move on like they're acquaintances you barely remember. The cruelty of it makes me smile for real. That's evil. That's effective. Anger they expect. Tears they can dismiss, but happiness. Genuine connection with someone clearly better than what you had. That destroys people like them. He starts walking. I follow. Now come. I want to dance with you, and I want them to watch. The orchestra is playing something slow. Other couples are already on the floor. Domenico leads me there with the confidence of someone who's never been denied access to anything. His hand finds my waist. Mine settles on his shoulder. We move together and it feels frighteningly natural. You dance well. I'm trying not to notice how perfectly we fit. I do everything well. Not arrogance, just fact. But dancing with you specifically is better than expected. You're not nervous anymore. Should I be? Probably. I'm not a good man. He says it casually, like commenting on the weather. I do things your ex-boyfriend couldn't imagine. I make decisions that would keep normal people awake at night. I'm dangerous in ways that aren't romantic or sanitized or safe. I know, and I do. Have since that first conversation. You told me what you are. I'm still here. Why? The question is genuine, curious. You could have brought anyone. Some safe, attractive friend who'd make your ex jealous without complicating your life. Why call the monster? Because monsters don't pretend to be heroes. I meet his eyes directly. Marcus pretended. Sophie pretended. Everyone pretends. You just are. And right now I need someone who's exactly what they claim to be, even if that thing is dangerous. Something shifts in his expression, softens maybe, or intensifies. Careful. Say things like that and I'll start thinking you called me for reasons beyond making your ex uncomfortable. Maybe I did. The admission surprises us both. The song ends. We're still standing there. Too close, too aware of each other. I can see Marcus watching from across the room, Sophie beside him looking like she swallowed glass. Domenico notices my attention drift. They're staring. Good. Want to give them something better to stare at. His hand slides to the small of my back again. Possessive, claiming, because I have ideas. What kind of ideas? He leans down, lips brushing my ear, voice so low only I can hear. The kind that make me the best fake date you've ever had. His breath is warm, deliberate, or the best real one, depending on how honest we're being about what's happening here. My heart is racing. Then what is happening here? You tell me. He pulls back just enough to look at me. Because from where I'm standing, this stopped being about revenge approximately 20 minutes ago. He's right. Terrifyingly right. I came here to hurt them, but now I'm here experiencing something else entirely. Something that has nothing to do with Marcus or Sophie, and everything to do with the man holding me like I'm worth holding. Domenico, later. He cuts me off gently. Right now your ex-boyfriend is working up courage to approach us, and I want to make sure when he does, you're too busy enjoying yourself to care. Marcus is walking toward us. I can see him in my peripheral vision, can see Sophie hanging back looking terrified. What do I do? I whisper. You smile. Domenico's hand tightens on my waist. Chat, and you let me handle the rest.
She truly loved him. 3 years. A planned future. Then she found him with her sister in the house she paid for, on the couch she chose. A shameless, double betrayal. She stayed broken for 6 months until she decided that sometimes anger is better than sadness.
Chapter 3. The Silent Fall. Marcus reaches us just as Domenico's thumb starts tracing small circles on my hip through the fabric of my dress, and I realize with startling clarity that this touch has nothing to do with performance, and everything to do with the fact that he wants to, and apparently doesn't care who notices. Isabella. Marcus's voice cuts through the moment. Still the same voice. Same tone he used when he'd come home from work and kiss my forehead and ask about my day, like he actually cared about the answer. Can we talk? I don't turn immediately. Take my time. Let him wait while I finish looking at Domenico, who's watching me with expression that suggests he's curious what I'll do but won't intervene unless I want him to. There's power in that, in knowing I have backup that doesn't need to announce itself. When I finally look at Marcus, I'm struck by how ordinary he seems. Average height, average build, brown hair that's thinning slightly at the crown in a way I used to find endearing, wearing a suit that probably came from the same store where he bought the one he wore to my cousin's wedding 2 years ago. Everything about him screams safe and predictable and completely unremarkable. I used to think unremarkable was underrated. Now I think it's just another word for forgettable. Marcus. I keep my voice neutral, pleasant, even. Like he's someone I barely remember instead of someone who was inside my body 300 times and still managed to make me feel invisible. You look well. He blinks. Wasn't expecting politeness, maybe. You look incredible. That dress is, you're stunning. Thank you. I don't elaborate. Don't explain that the dress cost more than he makes in a month, or that the man who bought it for me is currently standing so close. I can feel the heat of him through my bare back. Just accept the compliment and wait. Domenico hasn't moved, hasn't introduced himself, just stands there radiating the kind of quiet menace that makes grown men reconsider their life choices. Marcus notices, glances at him, looks away quickly, like he just accidentally made eye contact with a predator. I didn't know you were coming tonight. Marcus is trying to smile, failing. Sophie mentioned you might, but I thought after everything that maybe you'd skip it. Why would I skip it? I tilt my head, genuinely curious. It's a charity gala. I bought a ticket 6 months ago, back when we were still together and planning to come as a couple. Remember? Direct hit. I can see it land. Watch him flinch slightly at the reminder that this was supposed to be our night before he decided my sister was more interesting than commitment. Right. Yeah, of course. He's fidgeting now, hands in pockets, then out, then adjusting his tie. I just thought it might be awkward. You know, with Sophie and I, together. Awkward for who? I let the question hang. I'm having a wonderful time. Are you having a wonderful time? Yes. It's fine. Good. The venue is nice. He's spiraling. I can see it happening. Who's your date? There it is. The real question. The one he's been working up courage to ask since he saw us walk in together. Domenico chooses this moment to speak. His voice is exactly what you'd expect from someone who owns rooms instead of rents them. Domenico Santoro. And you are? The casual dismissal is perfect. Like Marcus is so inconsequential that Domenico couldn't possibly be expected to know who he is, despite the fact that we've been standing here having a conversation for 3 minutes. Marcus Chen. I'm Isabella's. We used to. He's stumbling over words like he forgot how sentences work. We dated for 3 years. Domenico's expression doesn't change. The ex-boyfriend. Isabella mentioned you briefly. Said you worked in, what was it? He looks at me, playing along with a script we never discussed, but somehow both understand perfectly. Finance? Accounting, actually. Marcus sounds defensive. I'm a senior accountant at Morrison & Associates. Accounting, of course. The way Domenico says it makes it sound like Marcus just admitted to being a professional grass watcher. Important work. Someone has to count things. I bite the inside of my cheek to keep from laughing. This is cruel. Absolutely cruel. And I'm enjoying it more than I should. Sophie appears beside Marcus like she's been hovering nearby, gathering courage. She looks exactly how I remember, except smaller somehow. Like I've been building her up in my head as this powerful figure who destroyed my life, when really she's just a 24-year-old girl wearing too much makeup and a dress that's trying too hard to be sophisticated. Bella. She uses the nickname she knows I hate. Always has. You came. I did. Surprised. I'm still using that pleasant neutral voice, the one that gives nothing away. No, yes. I thought maybe after I texted you about Marcus and I being here that you might feel more comfortable staying home. She's doing the concerned sister act. The one where she pretends to care about my feelings while actually just wanting me to disappear. I didn't want you to feel weird. Why would I feel weird? I gesture vaguely at the ballroom. This is a public event. We're all adults. You're dating my ex-boyfriend. I'm dating Domenico. Everyone's moved on. It's all very mature and healthy. The way I say dating my ex-boyfriend makes it sound exactly like what it is. Petty theft. She stole something that wasn't valuable because it was good, but because it belonged to me. Sophie's smile tightens. Right, mature. That's what we're calling bringing him to prove a point. Him has a name. Domenico's voice cuts through the tension like a blade, and I'm standing right here listening to you discuss me like I'm a prop instead of a person. Interesting choice given that you're trying to convince your sister that you're the mature one in this scenario. Sophie actually blushes. I didn't mean. I was just saying that Bella obviously brought you to make Marcus jealous, and that's fine. But let's not pretend it's anything else. You think I'm here to make Marcus jealous? Domenico looks at me, then at Sophie, then back at me like he's trying to figure out if this girl is actually serious. That's your read on the situation. That Isabella needs to manufacture jealousy to affect a man who traded her for a woman who very clearly got the worst end of the genetic lottery. The silence that follows is nuclear. Marcus makes a choking sound. Sophie goes white. I press my lips together so hard it hurts because if I don't, I'm going to laugh, and then I'm going to lose whatever moral high ground I'm pretending to occupy. Excuse me? Sophie's voice is ice. You heard me. Domenico doesn't even blink. And I've been watching you both all night. The desperate touching, the public displays of affection that feel more like reassurance than passion. The way you both keep checking to see if Isabella is watching. It's obvious to anyone paying attention that you didn't win anything. You just convinced yourself that taking something from her makes you equal to her, when in reality it just highlights exactly how inferior you feel. Domenico. I touch his arm, half warning, half trying not to kiss him for saying everything I've wanted to say for 6 months. What? He looks at me, genuinely confused why I'm stopping him. She insulted you. She insulted me. I'm simply correcting her misunderstanding of the situation. Marcus finds his voice. You can't talk to her like that. I just did. Domenico turns his attention to Marcus, studies him like he's something mildly interesting under a microscope. You know what I find fascinating? Isabella told me you left her for her sister because you felt neglected, said she worked too much, didn't pay enough attention to you, made you feel invisible. That's not exactly. Marcus is backtracking. But here's what's actually fascinating. Domenico continues like Marcus didn't speak. She worked 60-hour weeks to pay for the apartment you both lived in because your accounting salary barely covered your half of the rent. She came home exhausted and still made dinner because you claimed you didn't know how to cook anything beyond cereal. She planned every date, remembered every anniversary, organized your family gatherings because you couldn't be bothered, and you felt neglected. How do you know that? Marcus looks at me, betrayed somehow, like I violated his privacy by telling someone the truth about what our relationship actually looked like. She told me, during our first conversation, spent 2 hours explaining exactly how she bent herself into shapes trying to be enough for someone who was never going to see her value because he was too busy looking for excuses to justify wanting something easier. Domenico's hand tightens on my waist. So no, she didn't bring me here to make you jealous. She brought me here because I asked her to let me take her somewhere that would remind her what it feels like to be wanted by someone who doesn't need to steal to get what they want. The words land like physical blows. I can see Marcus processing them. See Sophie trying to formulate a response that doesn't make her sound exactly like what Domenico just accused her of being. I think we're done here. I find my voice finally. Marcus, Sophie, I hope you enjoy your evening. The silent auction has some lovely items. I'm particularly fond of the trip to Santorini. You should bid on it. Might be nice to get away together. The dismissal is clear. I'm done engaging, done explaining, done caring about their justifications or guilt or whatever complex emotions they're trying to process while standing in front of me. Sophie grabs Marcus's arm. Come on, let's go. But Marcus doesn't move immediately, just stands there looking at me like he's seeing me for the first time. Bella, I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'm really sorry. For cheating on me or for getting caught? The question comes out sharper than I intended, because I've had 6 months to think about it, and I still can't figure out which one you actually regret. Both. Neither. I don't know. He runs his hand through his hair. I handled it badly. We both did. You deserved better than finding out the way you did. I deserved better than being cheated on at all, but we don't always get what we deserve. I'm tired suddenly, exhausted by this conversation, and the history behind it, and the fact that some part of me still wants him to have a good reason, even though no reason would be good enough. Go be happy with Sophie. I mean that sincerely. Whatever you two have is yours now. I'm not interested in taking it back. You're really okay. He sounds like he needs me to be okay, like my forgiveness would absolve him of the guilt he's clearly been carrying. I'm getting there. The honesty feels important. Some days are harder than others, but I'm building something new, and it doesn't include space for people who proved they're not safe. Sophie is pulling at Marcus's arm now. He lets her drag him away. They disappear into the crowd, and I'm left standing with Domenico, whose hand hasn't moved from my waist, and whose presence feels like the only solid thing in a room full of performance. You okay? His voice is gentler now. Private. I don't know. The adrenaline is fading, leaving something raw behind. That felt good and terrible simultaneously. That's what honesty feels like. He guides me off the dance floor, away from prying eyes, toward a balcony that's technically closed but opens for him when he tries the door, because apparently locks are suggestions when you're Domenico Santoro. You needed to say those things. They needed to hear them. Everyone's uncomfortable now. That's growth. The night air is cold, perfect contrast to the overheated ballroom. I lean against the railing and try to remember how to breathe normally. I loved him. The confession comes out quiet. That's the worst part. Not that he left, but that I loved someone capable of leaving like that. You loved who you thought he was. Domenico joins me at the railing. Different thing. Is it though? Because if I was that wrong about him, what else am I wrong about? I look at him. What if I'm wrong about you? You're definitely wrong about me. He says it easily. I'm worse than you think. More dangerous, more selfish, more willing to do terrible things to get what I want. But I'm not wrong about you, and that's what matters tonight. What are you not wrong about? That you're worth more than how they treated you. That you deserve someone who sees your strength instead of just exploiting your trust. That bringing you here was the best decision I've made in months because watching you stand up for yourself was better than any entertainment this gala could provide. He turns to face me fully. You're magnificent when you're angry. Did you know that? I'm not magnificent. I'm a mess. But I'm smiling despite myself. You're both. Most interesting people are. His hand comes up, traces my jawline with a touch that's becoming familiar. Now, we have a choice. We can go back inside and continue performing for people who don't matter. Or we can leave, get food that's actually good instead of decorative, and you can tell me more about what comes next. What comes next? I repeat. After tonight, after you've proven whatever you needed to prove, after the adrenaline fades and you're left with whatever's underneath. His eyes search mine. What do you want, Isabella? Real answer. Not the one you think you should give. What do I want? The question feels impossible. Want feels like luxury I haven't been able to afford, but standing here with him, with the city lights below us, and the sound of the gala muffled behind closed doors, I let myself actually consider it. I want to stop feeling like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. The words come slowly. I want to trust someone and not spend every second wondering when they'll prove I was stupid for trusting them. I want to feel like I matter to someone who doesn't need me to be smaller to feel bigger. That's a start. He's still touching my face, still looking at me like I'm worth looking at. What else? I want you to kiss me. The admission shocks us both. Not for the audience. Not to make anyone jealous, just because I've been thinking about it since you picked me up tonight, and I'm tired of pretending I haven't been. His smile is slow, dangerous, careful. Say things like that, and I'll start thinking this stopped being fake the moment I saw you in that dress. Maybe it did. My heart is racing. Maybe I called you because some part of me knew that if I was going to move forward, I needed to do it with someone who makes me feel like moving forward is possible. Or maybe, he leans closer. You called me because you recognized something in me that matches something in you. Broken pieces that fit together better than they ever fit whole. Then he's kissing me. And it's nothing like kissing Marcus ever was. This is consuming, deliberate, the kind of kiss that erases every kiss that came before it and makes you wonder how you ever thought those other ones mattered. When we break apart, I'm breathless. He's smiling. Inside or food? His voice is rough now, affected. Food, definitely food. I'm trying to remember how words work. I can't go back in there right now. Not after that. Good choice. He takes my hand, leads me toward the exit. Because I have plans for you that don't involve sharing you with a room full of people who witnessed your origin story. Origin story. I'm following him blindly. Trust, replacing caution. Tonight, you stopped being the girl who got cheated on. He glances back, eyes gleaming. Tonight, you became the woman who chose better. That's an origin story. And I plan on being part of the sequel.
Marcus tried to warn her that Domenico is dangerous? Seriously? Like, he cheated on me with my sister, but now he's worried about my choices? She deleted his number, blocked him, went to sleep at Domenico's place. This is why I write. Peace, finally.
Chapter 4. The Accidental Meeting. The Don's Reason. 3 weeks before the gala, I was having a panic attack in a coffee shop at 4 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, which is objectively the worst time to have a breakdown because everyone else is just trying to get their caffeine fix and return to their boring jobs, and you're there crying into a napkin like the universe personally victimized you, which it had, but still. I'd just seen them, Marcus and Sophie, walking down the street holding hands like they were in a romantic comedy and not the villains of my personal tragedy. They were laughing about something, probably about how pathetic I was, or how much better their life together was, now that I wasn't in it, making everything complicated by expecting basic human decency. The panic started in my chest, that familiar tightness that says your body is remembering trauma, even if your brain is trying to pretend you're fine. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't hold my coffee. Had to set it down before I spilled it everywhere and added public humiliation to the day's growing list of failures. That's when he sat down across from me. I didn't look up immediately, was too busy trying to breathe and not hyperventilate in public, but I could feel him there, could sense the weight of his attention in a way that felt different from the other people in the coffee shop, who were very deliberately not looking at the crying girl in the corner. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. His voice was low, calm, the kind of voice that doesn't ask if you need help, because it already knows the answer. It's called the relaxation breath. Works better than you'd think. I looked up then, saw him for the first time. Dark hair, darker eyes, features that were too sharp to be conventionally handsome, but somehow worked together in a way that made handsome feel inadequate. Wearing a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Looking at me like I was a puzzle he found mildly interesting instead of a disaster taking up space. I know how to breathe. The words came out harsher than I intended. I've been doing it my whole life. Could have fooled me. He pushed a glass of water across the table. Drink. Slow sips. It helps ground you. I should have told him to leave. Should have been offended that this stranger was inserting himself into my crisis without invitation. Instead, I picked up the water and drank because apparently my body recognized safety before my brain could question it. Thanks. I set the glass down, wiped my eyes with the napkin that was already destroyed. Sorry, I'm fine. You can go back to whatever important thing you were doing before you decided to rescue the crying girl. I wasn't doing anything important. And you're not fine. He leaned back in his chair, comfortable, like he had all the time in the world. But you're going to be. Eventually. Right now, you're in the part where everything hurts, and you can't see past it. But eventually, you'll get to the part where it hurts less. And you don't know that. I hated how small my voice sounded. You don't know anything about me. I know you're sitting in a coffee shop at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, crying like your world just ended. I know you're wearing workout clothes that look slept in, which suggests you haven't been home. I know you keep checking your phone like you're waiting for someone to call and apologize, but they won't. Because people who make you feel this way don't apologize. They just make you feel crazy for being upset. He paused. How am I doing so far? Terrifyingly accurate. I stared at him, trying to figure out if he was psychic or just extremely observant. Who are you? Domenico. He didn't offer a last name. And you're someone who recently had something terrible happen and is trying to figure out how to keep existing afterward. That's a very specific read on a stranger. I was crying again. Quieter now. Do you make a habit of rescuing crying women in coffee shops? No. Usually, I ignore them like everyone else. But you looked like you were about to stop breathing, and I have this irritating habit of not letting people die in public spaces. Bad for business. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly. Also, you looked really angry underneath the sadness. I like angry. Angry means you're not broken. Just bent. I feel pretty broken. The admission cost me. My boyfriend cheated on me with my sister. They're together now, public, happy. I just saw them walking down the street laughing, and I had to hide in here before I did something stupid like scream at them or throw myself into traffic. Your sister. He repeated the words like he was testing their weight. Not a friend. Your actual sister. My actual sister, who I raised half the time, who knew everything about me, who I trusted more than anyone. The story was pouring out now. Unstoppable. They've been together 6 months, living in the apartment I used to share with him, sleeping in the bed I picked out, using the coffee maker I bought. Like I never existed except as an obstacle they successfully removed. Domenico was quiet for a long moment, just watched me with those dark eyes that seemed to see through every defense I didn't even know I was mounting. When he finally spoke, his voice was different, sharper. What's your name? Isabella. Bella. Everyone calls me Bella, except I kind of hate it because it feels diminutive, and I'm tired of being diminutive. I was rambling now. Sorry, I don't know why I'm telling you any of this. You're a stranger who probably has places to be. I have nowhere to be, and I asked. He pulled out his phone, typed something, put it away. Isabella, not Bella. Noted. Tell me about your sister, the one who stole your boyfriend. Sophie. She's 4 years younger. Always wanted what I had. Toys, clothes, friends. I thought it was normal sibling rivalry. Didn't realize she saw my entire life as something to compete for until she won the competition by taking the one thing I thought was safe. I was shredding the napkin now. She always said I was the golden child, that everyone loved me more, that I never had to work for anything. But you did work for it. Not a question. I worked for everything. Put myself through college while working 2 jobs. Supported Sophie when her parents couldn't. Paid for her textbooks and her rent and her life. And she repaid me by fucking my boyfriend in the apartment I was paying for. The bitterness tasted like acid. So she's jealous. And he's weak. Domenico said it like he was commenting on the weather. Standard combination. She wanted to prove she could take something from you. He wanted someone who wouldn't expect him to be better than he is. Match made in hell. You're very matter-of-fact about this. I wiped my eyes again. Most people try to make it sound less terrible than it is. Say things like maybe they really love each other, or everything happens for a reason. Everything doesn't happen for a reason. Sometimes terrible people do terrible things because they're selfish, and you happen to be convenient target. No cosmic lesson, just cruelty. He leaned forward. But here's what I know about people like your sister and your ex. They didn't take anything valuable. They took something you thought was valuable and proved it wasn't. Painful lesson, but useful. That's a very clinical way to look at having your heart destroyed. But I was listening. Actually listening instead of just waiting for him to stop talking. I'm a clinical person. Comes with the territory. He stood. Come on. You can't stay in this coffee shop forever, and you look like you haven't eaten in days. I'm not hungry. My stomach chose that moment to betray me with a loud growl. Okay, fine, I'm hungry, but I don't know you, and going anywhere with you seems like a decision future me would regret. Future you will regret a lot of things. This won't be one of them. He was already walking toward the door. There's a taco truck 2 blocks away that makes better food than any restaurant in this city. We're going. You're eating. Then I'm taking you home and you're going to sleep for 12 hours because you look exhausted. You're very bossy for someone I met 5 minutes ago. But I was following him because something about his certainty made my chaos feel manageable. I'm bossy for everyone I meet. It's part of my charm. He held the door open. Also, I'm not trying to charm you. Just trying to make sure you don't collapse in the middle of the street because you forgot food is necessary for continued existence. The taco truck was exactly where he said it would be. We ordered too much food. Sat on a bench in a park that was mostly empty except for a few joggers and a man feeding pigeons. And we talked, for 2 hours, about nothing and everything. About heartbreak and betrayal and what it feels like to love people who prove they don't deserve it. He told me things too, not everything, but enough that I understood he wasn't just some good Samaritan with too much free time. He had his own damage, his own history of trusting wrong people, his own reasons for understanding what it felt like to be blindsided by people who were supposed to be safe. What do you do? I asked at some point between the 3rd and 4th taco. For work, I mean. You clearly have money and power and all the things that come with being successful. Things that require discretion and occasionally violence. He said it easily, like admitting to murder at a dinner party. I'm not a good person, Isabella. I do bad things for reasons that make sense to me but would horrify most people. I'm telling you this because I don't believe in pretending to be something I'm not. Are you in the Mafia? The question should have scared me. That's a simplistic way to describe complicated operations. But essentially, yes. I run organizations that exist outside legal frameworks. I make decisions about people's lives. I solve problems that can't be solved through courts or lawyers or any legitimate channel. He was watching me for reaction. Still want to sit here? Yes. No hesitation. Because you're the first person in 6 months who's been honest about who they are. Everyone else pretends, hides, lies about what they want and why. You just said I'm dangerous and mean it. That's almost refreshing. Most people run when I tell them what I am. His expression was unreadable. You're either very brave or very broken. I'm very broken. But I think broken people recognize each other. I finished my taco. So yes, I'm still here, and I appreciate that you're not trying to fix me or tell me everything happens for a reason or any of the other platitudes people throw at pain they don't understand. We talked until the sun started setting, until the park got darker and the temperature dropped, and I realized I'd spent hours with this stranger and felt safer than I had in my own apartment for months. When we finally stood to leave, he pulled out his phone. Give me your number. Why? I was suspicious again. So you can check up on me. Make sure I don't do anything stupid. So if you ever need someone who won't judge you for feeling what you feel, you can call. He handed me his phone. I'm serious. Bad day. Panic attack. Moment where you want to burn down their apartment. Call me. I'll either talk you down or help you plan, depending on what you need. I put my number in, handed it back. Why are you being nice to me? What do you get out of this? Nothing. Everything. I don't know yet. He pocketed his phone. Maybe I just like the idea of someone in this city not being terrified of me. Or maybe I see something in you that reminds me of myself before I decided being terrible was easier than being hurt. Either way, you have my number. Use it if you need it. I won't need it. The words felt like lie even as I said them. You will. He started walking away, paused, turned back. And Isabella, when you do call, when you finally get angry enough to stop being sad, I'll help you remind them exactly what they lost. That's a promise. Then he was gone. Disappeared into the evening like he'd never been there, except I had his number in my phone, and the taste of really good tacos, and the feeling that something just shifted in a way I couldn't quite name. 2 weeks later, Sophie posted on Instagram about the gala, about her dress, about how excited she was to go with Marcus to this fancy event that apparently everyone who was anyone attended. The photo showed them together, happy, proud. And I sat there looking at it, feeling that familiar rage building. Not sadness anymore, just pure burning anger at the audacity of them flaunting their happiness like my destruction was just collateral damage in their love story. That's when I called him. Domenico answered on the first ring. Isabella, that promise you made, about helping me remind them what they lost. My voice was steady, certain. I'm ready. Are you? I've been ready since the moment you told me your story. I could hear the smile in his voice. What do you need? A date to a gala. Someone who will make my ex-boyfriend feel like the small, pathetic man he is. Someone who will make my sister realize she didn't win anything. I took a breath. Someone who will stand beside me while I prove I'm not broken, just bent. When and where? No hesitation. No questions about why or what this meant, or any of the complications that should have existed. I told him the details. He said he'd pick me up at 7, and that was it. No negotiation. No discussion about what we were or weren't. Just agreement to be exactly what I needed when I needed it. Now 3 weeks later, I'm standing on a balcony having just been kissed by this man who saw me at my lowest and decided I was worth saving. And I'm realizing that maybe I didn't call him for revenge. Maybe I called him because some part of me recognized that if I was going to rebuild myself, I needed to do it with someone who understood that broken pieces sometimes fit together better than pristine ones. What are you thinking? He's watching me, reading my silence. I'm thinking that meeting you in that coffee shop was either the best or worst thing that could have happened. The honesty feels important. I'm thinking that I called you for revenge, but I'm staying for reasons that have nothing to do with Marcus or Sophie. And I'm thinking that terrifies me more than anything they did. Good. He pulls me closer. Terror means you're alive. Means you're feeling things beyond just pain. Means you're ready to stop surviving and start living. His hand curves around my neck, thumb brushing my pulse point. Now. Food. Then we talk about what comes next. because this stopped being about them the moment you kissed me back. What does come next? The question feels massive. Whatever we decide, he leads me toward the exit. But I can promise you this. Whatever it is won't involve me pretending to be safe when I'm dangerous, or good when I'm terrible. You get the real version. Always. That's the deal. And if the real version scares me, I'm following him down the stairs, away from the gala, toward something unknown. Then you leave. I won't stop you, won't chase you, won't make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. He glances back, but I don't think it will. I think you're tired of safe. I think you want real, even if real is complicated and messy and sometimes dangerous. And I think you called me because you recognize that I can give you that in ways your ex-boyfriend never could. He's right. Terrifyingly right. I did call him for revenge, but I stayed because he saw me completely. The broken parts, the angry parts, the parts that wanted to burn everything down and rebuild from ashes. And he didn't try to fix me or save me or make me smaller so he could feel bigger. He just stood beside me and said, "Show them who you are." And when I did, he was there, solid, certain, dangerous in ways that felt like protection instead of threat. Domenico, I stop at the bottom of the stairs. Yes, he turns to face me fully. Thank you for the coffee shop, for tonight, for being exactly what I needed, even though I didn't know I needed it. The words feel inadequate. I don't know what we're doing or where this goes, but thank you. You're welcome. He closes the distance between us, kisses me again, softer this time. Now stop thanking me and get in the car. I'm taking you somewhere that serves food worth eating. And then we're going to figure out what this is beyond revenge and attraction and two broken people finding each other at exactly the right time. Chapter 5. The Decision. Plus, back to the party. The game begins. We don't leave the gala. I think we're going to. We're at the door. His car is waiting outside. The valet already has the keys. But then Domenico stops and looks back at the ballroom with expression that suggests he just remembered something important. A change of plans. He turns to face me. We're going back in. Why? I'm confused. We just had this entire conversation about leaving, about getting real food, about figuring out what this is. I thought you said we were done performing. We are, but you're not done. His hand finds my waist again. Familiar gesture now. You left before they could see you enjoying yourself, before you could dance without them hovering, before you could prove that you're not here because of them. You're here despite them. Domenico, I already proved whatever I needed to prove, but I'm not pulling away. Marcus looked devastated. Sophie looked furious. Mission accomplished. Mission half accomplished. He's already guiding me back toward the entrance. You showed them you moved on. Now show them you're thriving. There's a difference. We re-enter the ballroom. The music has shifted to something faster. More people are dancing now. The formal part of the evening is giving way to actual celebration. I can see Sophie and Marcus near the bar. They look miserable, whispering intensely to each other like they're having an argument they don't want anyone to overhear. Perfect. Dance with me. Domenico doesn't ask, just pulls me onto the floor. Really dance. Not the polite swaying we did earlier. I want them to see you laughing, see you present, see you so caught up in this moment that they become background noise you don't even register. I'm not a good dancer. The protest is automatic. You don't need to be good. You need to be free. His hand tightens on my waist. Follow my lead. Stop thinking. Just feel. So I do. Stop thinking about Marcus, about Sophie, about the betrayal and the pain and the 6 months of wondering what I did wrong. I just move with Domenico, whose body seems to know exactly how mine wants to respond. We're not following the music so much as creating our own rhythm, something that exists independent of the orchestra and the other couples and everything, except this connection between us. I'm laughing. Actually laughing. Not performing or pretending. Just genuinely enjoying the feeling of being held by someone who knows how to lead without controlling. Who gives me space to move while keeping me anchored. Who makes dancing feel less like a skill and more like a conversation where both people are actually listening. There she is. Domenico's voice is close to my ear. The woman who walked into that coffee shop angry and alive and refusing to be diminished. That's who I want them to see. I glance over his shoulder. Marcus is watching us, not even trying to hide it. Sophie is tugging on his arm, trying to get his attention, but he's locked on me, on us, on the version of me that he clearly never saw because he was too busy looking for reasons to justify leaving. He's staring. I don't know how I feel about that. Let him. Domenico spins me, brings me back against him. He's realizing in real time that he traded Michelin star dining for fast food and convinced himself it was an upgrade. That's not your problem. That's his crisis to process. You're very good at this. I'm breathless from dancing and proximity, and the way he's looking at me like I'm the only person worth looking at. Good at what? Dancing or destroying your ex-boyfriend's ego? He's smiling, that dangerous smile that suggests he's enjoying himself more than he probably should. Both. Either. All of it. I'm matching his rhythm perfectly now. You make it look effortless. Like you've been doing this forever. I've been navigating social warfare since I was old enough to attend events where reputation matters more than truth. This is just another version of that game. Except tonight, I'm on your side instead of playing for myself. His hand slides lower on my back, still appropriate but barely, and I'm discovering that being on your side is significantly more satisfying than being alone. The song ends, transitions into something slower, more intimate. Couples around us adjust their holds, move closer. Domenico pulls me against him properly now, chest to chest, close enough that I can feel his heartbeat, close enough that anyone watching knows this stopped being fake, somewhere between the balcony and right now. Isabella. His voice is different, serious. I need to tell you something before this goes further. That sounds ominous. I'm trying for humor, landing somewhere near anxious. I wasn't in that coffee shop by accident. He's still moving us through the dance, but his focus is entirely on my reaction. I was there because I'd been following you for 3 days. I stopped moving. What? Not following in a creepy way. Following because someone asked me to. He doesn't let me pull away, just holds me steady while I process. Your ex-boyfriend, Marcus, he hired me to make sure you weren't doing anything stupid. Said you'd been making concerning posts online about not wanting to exist anymore. Said he was worried you might hurt yourself. The betrayal hits different this time. Marcus hired you to spy on me. He hired me to do a welfare check. I don't actually take those jobs. I'm not a private investigator. I'm significantly more expensive and less legal. But his sister works for someone who knows someone I do business with, and she begged, said her brother was genuinely worried. So I looked into it. Domenico's expression is unreadable. You weren't making concerning posts. You were making very reasonable posts about heartbreak and betrayal. You weren't suicidal. You were angry. He wasn't worried about your well-being. He was worried you might do something to ruin his perfect new life with your sister. So you followed me to what? Make sure I wasn't planning to key his car or burn down their apartment. I should be furious. Should be pulling away. Should be leaving. But I'm frozen trying to understand what this means. I followed you to see if his concerns had any merit. They didn't. You were just a heartbroken woman trying to exist through pain. I reported back that you were fine. Case closed. Money refunded because I don't charge for jobs I don't complete. He pauses. But then I saw you in that coffee shop having a panic attack, and I couldn't walk away. Not because of the job, because of you. Why are you telling me this now? My voice is shaking. Because I don't lie to people I'm involved with, and we're involved now whether we planned it or not. His grip loosens, giving me space to leave if I want. If you want to walk away because I wasn't honest from the beginning, I'll understand. But I needed you to know before we cross any more lines that can't be uncrossed. I should walk away, should be furious that this entire connection is built on deception, that he saw me at my lowest because he was being paid to monitor me, that the coffee shop wasn't fate but surveillance, but somehow the anger won't come, because he didn't have to tell me, could have kept that secret forever, could have let me believe we met organically, and I'd never have known the difference. You refunded the money. I repeat the words, testing their weight. I don't take money for jobs I don't complete, and sitting in a coffee shop talking to you wasn't the job. That was a choice. His eyes search mine. Everything after that first conversation was choice. The tacos, the phone number, coming here tonight, all choice. No contract, no payment, just me deciding you were worth knowing beyond whatever he paid me to confirm. Marcus is going to lose his mind when he finds out I'm here with you. The realization makes me laugh, slightly hysterical but genuine. He hired you to make sure I wasn't a threat, and you became my date to the event where I'm actively threatening his comfort. Ironic. Domenico's smile returns, also satisfying. He deserves to feel uncomfortable. He weaponized his concern for you to control your narrative. I'm just returning the favor by helping you reclaim it. We're still standing in the middle of the dance floor, other couples moving around us, the music continuing without us. I should make a decision. Stay or go, trust or run, continue whatever this is, or cut my losses before I get hurt again. Dance with me. I step back into his arms. Really dance. The way you said, where I stop thinking and just feel, because thinking is making me crazy, and feeling is making me brave, and I'm choosing brave. His expression shifts, relief maybe, or something deeper. You're sure? No, but I'm sure that Marcus doesn't get to control my story anymore, and I'm sure that you telling me the truth when you could have kept lying means something. I let him pull me close again. So dance with me. Make them watch. Make them wonder. Make them realize that hiring you was the biggest mistake in a long line of mistakes. We dance. Really dance this time. Not performing, not proving anything, just moving together like we've been doing this for years instead of hours. And when I look over his shoulder, Marcus is still watching, but I don't care anymore. not about his opinion or his regret or his realization that he lost something valuable. I care about the man holding me who saw me broken and decided I was worth honesty, who came to this gala not because I was paying him, but because I asked, who kissed me on a balcony and then told me the truth even knowing it might ruin everything. They're leaving. Domenico's voice breaks through my thoughts. Your sister just dragged him toward the exit. Looks like they're done trying to outlast us. Good. I don't turn to watch them go. Let them leave. This stopped being about them the moment you told me the truth. What's it about now? He's guiding us off the floor, toward the edge of the room where we can breathe, figuring out what two broken people can build when they stop pretending to be whole. I look at him directly. I'm still hurt, still damaged, still probably not ready for whatever this is, but I'm choosing it anyway. Choosing you. Choosing brave over safe. That's new for me. New for me too. His hand finds my face. I don't do relationships, don't do feelings, don't do anything that requires vulnerability, but something about you makes me want to try, and that's terrifying and fascinating in equal measure. So what do we do? The question feels impossible. We finish this dance. We let them leave knowing you won. Then we get food and talk about what comes next without them in the equation. He kisses me. Quick. Certain. And we figure it out as we go, because that's what people do when they find something worth fighting for. Okay. The agreement feels like jumping off a cliff. Let's figure it out. Chapter 6. The emotional turn. The restaurant Domenico takes me to doesn't look like much from outside. Small storefront wedged between a dry cleaner and a closed bookstore. No sign, no window display, just a red door with a bronze handle and the kind of anonymity that suggests people who eat here don't need advertising to know it exists. This is where you're taking me. I'm trying not to sound disappointed, but I just left a gala in a dress that cost more than my rent to eat at a place that looks like it might give me food poisoning. Trust me. He opens the door. Warm light spills out along with the smell of something that makes my stomach remind me I haven't eaten since breakfast. Best Italian food in the city. Family owned. Been here 40 years. They don't advertise because they don't need to. Inside is nothing like outside. Exposed brick walls, candlelight, maybe 10 tables total, all occupied by people who look like they know something the rest of the city doesn't. An older woman appears the moment we enter, takes one look at Domenico and her entire face transforms. Nico. She's hugging him before I can process that someone just called him Nico. Troppo tempo. Where have you been? Your mama would be so upset you don't visit more. I've been busy. Nonna Rosa. His voice is different, softer, but I'm here now, with someone special. Can you find us a table? She looks at me, really looks. The kind of assessment that feels like she's reading my entire history in the way I'm standing. Then she smiles. Special, I see. Come, I have perfect table for you. We're led to a corner booth, private, intimate, the kind of spot where conversations can happen without the whole restaurant listening. Nonna Rosa disappears with promises of bringing us things we'll love, and not to even think about looking at a menu, because she knows what we need. Nico, I raise an eyebrow once we're alone. Family nickname. She's known me since I was 8. He's looking almost embarrassed. My mother brought me here every Sunday after church, taught me to appreciate real food, instead of whatever passed for Italian in most restaurants. Your mother. I'm realizing how little I actually know about him. You don't talk about her. She died when I was 16. Cancer. Fast and brutal. He's looking at the candle on our table instead of at me. Nonna Rosa was one of the people who made sure I didn't completely fall apart after. Fed me. Yelled at me when I did stupid things. Reminded me I had people who cared even when I was trying very hard to push everyone away. The vulnerability catches me off guard. I'm sorry. Losing a parent that young is devastating. Life-changing. The moment when you realize nothing is permanent and the people you love can disappear without warning. He finally looks at me, which is why I understood what you were feeling in that coffee shop. Not the betrayal part, but the part where your foundation crumbles and you have to figure out how to keep standing when everything that held you up is gone. Your father? I ask carefully. Not in the picture. Never was. My mother raised me alone. Worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. Died exhausted and broke despite doing everything right. There's bitterness in his voice. That's when I learned that playing by rules written by people who don't care if you survive is stupid. So I stopped playing by their rules and started making my own, and became the Don. I'm piecing together a history he's giving me in fragments. Eventually, first I became angry. Then I became useful to people who needed things done that couldn't be done legally. Then I became powerful enough that people stopped questioning my methods and started asking for my help. He pauses. I'm not proud of everything I've done, but I'm not ashamed either. I survived the only way I knew how. Nonna Rosa returns with wine we didn't order and bread that's still warm. Mangia, you're both too skinny. Especially you. She points at me. Nico, you need to feed this one more. She looks like strong wind could knock her over. I'm working on it, Nonna. He's smiling now. Genuine warmth. She leaves muttering in Italian about men who don't know how to take care of women properly. I'm trying not to laugh. She's very concerned about my weight. She's concerned about everything. It's her nature. Spent 40 years feeding people and decided that's her life's mission now. He pours wine, hands me a glass. But she's not wrong. You do look like you haven't been eating properly. Too much surviving and not enough living. I've been eating. The defense is automatic. You've been consuming calories to avoid dying. That's different from eating. He tears off a piece of bread, hands it to me. When's the last time you had a meal you actually enjoyed instead of just tolerated? I think about it. Can't remember. Before I found them together. Marcus and I used to cook on Sundays. Nothing fancy, just pasta or stir-fry or whatever we felt like making. We'd drink cheap wine and pretend we were sophisticated, and it was nice. And after, he's watching me again with that focused attention. After I stopped cooking, stopped caring about food beyond what I needed to function, stopped doing anything that reminded me of when things were good, the admission tastes bitter. I basically gave up everything I enjoyed because he ruined all of it by association. That's what betrayal does. Contaminates the past. Makes you question if anything was real or if you were just performing in a play where you were the only one who didn't know the script. Domenico's voice is gentle. But at some point you have to reclaim those things. Take back the activities he doesn't get to own just because he was there when you did them. Is that what you did? After your mother died, reclaimed things. I'm eating the bread without realizing it. He's right. It's incredible. Eventually, took years. First, I avoided everything that reminded me of her. This restaurant, the church we attended, the park where she'd take me on Saturdays. Then I realized avoiding those places was letting grief control me. So I came back, started visiting Nonna Rosa again, started going to the park, started letting myself remember the good parts without the pain drowning everything else. How long did it take before it stopped hurting? The question feels important. It still hurts, just differently, less like bleeding out and more like a scar that aches when it rains. He's quiet for a moment. But the hurt means she mattered, means what we had was real. I'd rather carry that pain than forget her completely. Food arrives, multiple dishes, all smelling better than anything I've encountered in months. Nonna Rosa sets everything down with instructions to eat all of it, or she'll be personally offended. Domenico just nods and promises we'll do our best. She likes you. I'm watching them interact, seeing a version of him that's completely different from the controlled, dangerous man at the gala. She likes everyone until they give her reason not to. Then she holds grudges that last generations. He's serving me food, not asking what I want, just putting things on my plate like he knows exactly what I need. But yes, she likes me, probably more than I deserve. We eat in comfortable silence for a while. The food is incredible, everything perfectly seasoned, cooked with the kind of care that comes from decades of practice. I'm eating without thinking about calories or consequences or any of the things that usually make food feel like obligation instead of pleasure. This is amazing. I'm on my third bite of something that might be heaven disguised as pasta. How did I not know about this place? Because people who know about it don't tell people who don't. It's intentional. Keeps it from becoming overrun with tourists and food bloggers. He's eating methodically. Nonna Rosa could charge 5 times what she does and people would pay. But she keeps prices low because she believes good food shouldn't be luxury, should be accessible. That's rare. I'm thinking about the gala, about the decorative food that cost fortune and tasted like edible art instead of actual sustenance. Most people would capitalize on quality like this. Most people didn't watch their mother die because she couldn't afford health care while working herself to death. His voice is hard now. Nonna Rosa understands that money isn't the only currency that matters. Sometimes feeding people who need feeding is worth more than profit margins. I'm seeing him differently now. Not just the powerful Don who destroyed my ex-boyfriend's ego with surgical precision, but the boy who lost his mother too young, who learned to survive in a world that didn't care if he lived or died, who built power from pain and uses it in ways that are complicated and sometimes terrible, but also sometimes like this. Bringing someone who forgot how to enjoy food to a place that remembers food should be about more than just survival. Thank you. The words feel inadequate. For bringing me here. For telling me about your mother. For being honest about the coffee shop even though you didn't have to be. You're welcome. He's looking at me with expression I can't quite read. But I didn't bring you here to be thanked. I brought you here because watching you at that gala reminded me of something I've been trying to forget. What's that? I'm almost afraid to ask. That revenge is satisfying, but connection is better. He sets down his fork. And I watched you walk into that ballroom with me and reclaim power they tried to take. Watched you stand up to people who hurt you and refuse to be diminished. And I realized that what I'm feeling isn't just attraction or respect or any of the simple things I could explain away. It's something more complicated, something I haven't let myself feel in a very long time. My heart is racing. Domenico, let me finish. He's leaning forward now. I'm not good at this. At feelings or vulnerability or any of the things normal relationships require. I'm better at transactions and power dynamics and keeping people at distance where they can't hurt me, but something about you makes me want to try. Makes me want to be honest even when honesty is terrifying. Makes me want to know if what we have is real or just two broken people finding temporary comfort in each other. What if it's both? The question comes out quietly. And what if we're both broken and both finding something real? Can those things coexist? I don't know. His hand finds mine across the table, but I'd like to find out. If you're willing to risk it. Risk what exactly? I need to hear him say it. Need to know what he's offering. Risk trusting me when trust has only gotten you hurt before. Risk believing that what we have is worth exploring even though I'm dangerous and you're damaged and we're both probably too complicated for anything healthy. Risk choosing something real over something safe. His thumb traces patterns on my palm. I can't promise I won't hurt you. Can't promise this will work, but I can promise I'll be honest about who I am and what I'm capable of. That's more than your ex-boyfriend gave you. Maybe it's enough to start with. I should say no. Should protect myself. Should recognize that falling for someone powerful and dangerous while still bleeding from the last betrayal is recipe for disaster. But looking at him now, seeing the vulnerability underneath the control, remembering how he stood beside me while I reclaimed pieces of myself I thought were lost forever. I can't make myself choose safe over real. Okay, the word feels like jumping without a net. Let's try. Let's see what two broken people can build when they stop pretending to be whole. But Domenico, if you're going to hurt me, do it honestly. Don't make me question reality. Don't make me feel crazy for trusting you. Just be direct about it. I can do that. His grip tightens on my hand. And Isabella, same goes. You feel something. You need something. You're scared of something. Tell me. Don't let it build until it explodes. We do this honestly, or we don't do it at all. Deal. I'm smiling despite the terror. Now feed me more of this incredible food before Nonna Rosa comes back and yells at us for letting it get cold. He laughs. Actually laughs. And watching him let go of that controlled exterior for just a moment makes something in my chest warm, in ways that have nothing to do with the wine or the atmosphere, or anything except him. We finish dinner. Nonna Rosa brings dessert we didn't ask for. More wine. Stories about Domenico as a boy that make him groan and me laugh until my sides hurt. And through it all, I feel something shifting. Something that has nothing to do with Marcus or Sophie or the gala, or any of the reasons I called him in the first place. I feel like myself again. Not the broken version. Not the performing version. Just me. Raw and complicated and messy and real. And the man across from me seems to prefer that version over any of the polished alternatives I could present. Maybe that's what makes this terrifying. Not that he might hurt me, but that he might see me completely and decide I'm worth keeping anyway. Chapter 7. The Final Confrontation. We're walking back to his car when my phone buzzes. I almost don't check it. Almost just let whatever notification it is wait until tomorrow when I have emotional capacity to deal with the outside world. But Domenico notices my hesitation and says something that changes my mind. If it's important, handle it now. Don't let things fester because you're avoiding discomfort. So I look. It's Marcus, texting me at 11 p.m. like he has any right to my attention at this hour. We need to talk. Please. It's important. I show Domenico the screen. Watch his expression darken slightly. What do you want to do? I want to ignore it. Want to pretend he doesn't exist. Want to go home and sleep and wake up tomorrow without this hanging over me. The honesty spills out easily now. But you're right. Letting it fester just gives him power. Better to deal with it and be done. You want me there? He's already pulling out his own phone. I can have him meet us somewhere public. Somewhere you'll feel safe. No, I need to do this alone. The realization surprises me. Not because I don't want you there, but because I need to prove to myself I can face him without backup. That I'm strong enough to handle this without someone protecting me. You are strong enough. You've been strong enough this whole time. His hand finds my face. But strength isn't about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to ask for help and when to stand on your own. If you need to do this solo, I respect that, but I'm one call away if you change your mind. I text Marcus back. Where? His response is immediate. The park, near where we used to walk. 20 minutes. Of course he wants to meet there. The park where we spent Sunday mornings drinking coffee and pretending we were the kind of couple who did wholesome activities together. He's probably hoping the location will make me sentimental, make me forget why I'm angry. He's wrong. Fine. 20 minutes. Don't be late. Domenico drives me there. Parks far enough away that Marcus won't see his car, but close enough that he can reach me in seconds if something goes wrong. Before I get out, he catches my wrist. Remember what I told you at the gala. You don't owe him explanations. You don't owe him forgiveness. You don't owe him anything except the truth about how you feel. His eyes are intense. And if he makes you uncomfortable for even a second, you leave. Text me. I'll handle the rest. I'll be fine. I'm trying to convince myself as much as him. It's just Marcus. He's not dangerous. Just pathetic. Pathetic men do dangerous things when they realize they lost something valuable. He's not letting go of my wrist. Promise me you'll be careful. I promise. I kiss him quickly. Thank you for driving me, for not making me feel weak for wanting to do this. You're the furthest thing from weak. He releases my wrist. Now go. Face him. End this chapter so we can start the next one. I walk into the park alone. It's late enough that most people have gone home. Just a few stragglers, dog walkers, insomniacs, people like me who are about to have conversations they've been avoiding for 6 months. Marcus is waiting on our bench, the one we used to claim every Sunday. He stands when he sees me, looks nervous. Good. He should be nervous. Bella, you came. He's using the nickname again, testing to see if I'll correct him. Isabella. My voice is firm. Bella is what people who actually care about me call me. You don't qualify. He flinches. Right, Isabella. Sorry. I keep forgetting. You keep forgetting a lot of things. Like boundaries. Like basic human decency. Like the fact that you lost the right to informal intimacy when you decided my sister was more interesting than our relationship. I'm not sitting. Standing gives me power. What do you want, Marcus? It's late. I had a long night. Make it quick. I wanted to apologize. Really apologize. Not the half-assed explanation I gave you 6 months ago. He's fidgeting with his hands. What I did was unforgivable. I know that. I knew it then. But I was confused, and Sophie was there, and it just happened, and stop. I hold up my hand. Don't do that. Don't minimize what you did by saying it just happened. Cheating doesn't just happen. It's a series of choices. You chose to pursue my sister. You chose to lie to me. You chose to sleep with her in our apartment while I was working to pay rent we both supposedly shared. Those were active decisions, not accidents. You're right. I'm sorry. I made terrible choices. He's looking at the ground now. But I need you to understand I never meant to hurt you. I cared about you. Still do. It's just what? I'm getting angry now. Just you felt neglected. Just you wanted someone who paid more attention to you. Just you decided that your discomfort was more important than your commitment. I felt invisible. The words come out defensive. You were always working, always tired, always choosing your career over us. I needed someone who made me feel like I mattered. So you chose my sister, the person who knew how much that specific betrayal would destroy me, the one person you knew I trusted more than anyone. The laugh that comes out is bitter. You didn't just want someone who paid attention. You wanted to hurt me, to punish me for not being whatever impossible thing you needed me to be. That's not true. Sophie and I just connected. We have things in common, similar interests. She makes me laugh. He's trying to justify it. I'm not saying what we did was right, but what we have is real. What you have is built on lies and betrayal. That's not real. That's just two people who convince themselves that destroying someone else to get what they want is acceptable as long as they feel strongly enough about it. I'm pacing now. Can't stand still. But you know what? I don't actually care anymore what you and Sophie have. You want each other? Fine. Have each other. Enjoy your life together? I'm done being angry about it. You are? He sounds suspicious. Because at the gala you seemed pretty angry. You brought that man, Domenico. You know who he is, right? What he does. I know exactly who he is, and what he does. And I chose him anyway because, unlike you, he's honest about what he is. I stop pacing, face Marcus directly, and he doesn't pretend to be safe while betraying me. He doesn't claim to care while prioritizing his own comfort. He just is what he is, and lets me decide if that's something I can handle. That's more respect than you ever showed me. He's dangerous, Bella. Isabella. Whatever. Marcus is getting agitated. People like him hurt people like you. You think he cares about you. He's using you for whatever game he's playing, for whatever power move he needs to make. You're going to get hurt, maybe, but at least I'll see it coming. With you, I was blindsided. With him, I know exactly what I'm walking into. I'm tired suddenly. Is that why you wanted to meet? To warn me about Domenico? To pretend you're concerned about my well-being when really you're just upset I moved on with someone who makes you look exactly as small as you are? I am concerned, but his voice says otherwise. Sophie is concerned too. She thinks you're spiraling, making bad choices to prove a point. Sophie doesn't get to be concerned about me. She lost that right when she decided my boyfriend was available for the taking. I'm moving toward the exit now, and neither do you. I'm not spiraling, I'm living. For the first time in 6 months, I'm actually living instead of just surviving the damage you two caused. Wait, he catches up to me. I need to know, are you happy, really happy, or are you just pretending to make us feel bad? I stop. Turn to look at him. Really look at him. See all the ordinary features I used to find comforting now just looking empty. Like someone drew a person but forgot to add anything that makes them interesting. You know what the saddest part is. You actually think I'm doing all of this for your benefit. That my happiness is somehow about you. That I brought Domenico to make you jealous. Or that I'm dating him to prove a point. I shake my head. but the truth is so much worse than that. I'm not thinking about you at all anymore. You've become irrelevant, background noise in a story that's moved past you. That's not true, but he sounds uncertain now. It is true, and that terrifies you, doesn't it? The idea that I'm actually okay without you, that I found something better without even trying, that you weren't as essential to my life as you thought you were. I'm not trying to be cruel, just honest. You thought I'd fall apart, thought I'd spend years mourning what we had. Instead, I spent 6 months healing, and then moved forward with someone who reminds me what I deserve. Which is what? Some criminal who'll probably get you killed. Marcus is grasping now. You deserve better than that. You're right. I do deserve better than that. But I also deserved better than you, and I settled anyway because I confused reliability with love. Now I'm choosing someone who's honest about their flaws over someone who hides them until you're too invested to leave easily. I start walking again. We're done here. I said what I needed to say. You heard it. Now leave me alone. Don't text. Don't call. Don't send your sister to check on me. I'm fine. I'll continue being fine. And your opinion on my choices is no longer relevant. Isabella, wait. He sounds desperate now. I know I messed up. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know I really am sorry. I think about it every day, about what I lost, about how good things were before I ruined them. You didn't lose me when you cheated, Marcus. I don't turn around. You lost me when I realized I was worth more than you were offering. So thank you for being exactly terrible enough that I stopped settling, for betraying me so completely that I had no choice but to rebuild myself into someone stronger, for giving me the push I needed to stop accepting crumbs and start demanding full meals. So that's it. We're done. Just like that. He sounds broken now. After 3 years together, after everything we built, we didn't build anything. I built a life and you inhabited it until something shinier caught your attention. There's a difference. I'm almost to Domenico's car now. Can see him leaning against it waiting. Goodbye, Marcus. I hope you and Sophie are happy together. I genuinely mean that, because I'm going to be happy elsewhere, and your suffering doesn't actually make me feel better anymore. I walk away. Don't look back. Don't give him the satisfaction of seeing if his words landed. Just move forward toward the man waiting who saw me fall apart, and help me remember how to stand. Domenico opens the car door when I reach him. How was it? Exactly what I needed. I slide into the passenger seat. He apologized, made excuses, tried to warn me about you. All very predictable. But I said what I needed to say and now I'm done. Actually done. Not just pretending to move on, but genuinely ready to let it go. Good. He gets in the driver's seat. Starts the engine. Where to? Home. You're home. The correction feels important. If that's okay, I don't want to be alone tonight. Don't want to go back to my empty apartment where I'll just replay everything. I want to be somewhere that feels safe. My home it is. He's already driving. Guest room or your room. The words come out before I can second guess them. Not for sex, just for company. I want to fall asleep next to someone who chose me without me having to convince them I'm worth choosing. His hand finds mine. Squeezes. You've never had to convince me of anything. You were worth it the moment I saw you trying to breathe through panic while everyone else ignored you. Everything after that just confirmed what I already knew. We drive in comfortable silence, my head resting against the window, his hand holding mine like an anchor. And I feel something I haven't felt in 6 months. Peace. Not happiness exactly. Not yet. But the absence of constant pain. The space where healing can start once you stop bleeding. Marcus texted me one more time while we were driving. I don't even look at it. Just delete the conversation entirely. Block his number. Erase him from my phone like he's already been erased from my life. Domenico notices. Feel good. Surprisingly, yes. I'm smiling now. You know, he doesn't get to exist in my space anymore. Not digitally, not emotionally, not at all. He's just gone. And I'm still here. Better than before. Stronger than he gave me credit for. He never deserved you anyway. Domenico pulls into his driveway. Now come inside. I'll make tea. We'll sit on the couch and not talk about exes or betrayal or anything heavy. We'll just exist together without agenda. That sounds perfect. I follow him inside. Into a house that's starting to feel more like home than my own apartment ever did. Because home isn't where you live. It's where someone sees you completely and decides you're worth keeping anyway. And tonight, I'm home. Chapter 8. The Choice. Domenico's house is nothing like I expected. Not some cold, modern mansion designed to intimidate. Just a beautiful brownstone in a quiet neighborhood where trees line the streets and people walk dogs at night without looking over their shoulders. Inside, it's warm, lived in. Books scattered on tables. Art on walls that looks collected over time instead of purchased for decoration. Evidence of a life being built instead of just displayed. You look surprised. He's taking off his jacket, loosening his tie, looking more human with each piece of armor he removes. I expected something more. I don't know, imposing, cold, very obviously belonging to someone dangerous. I'm walking through his living room taking in details. This looks like a home, not a fortress. I have enough fortress in my daily life. Home should feel different. He's in the kitchen now. I can hear water running, kettle being filled. Besides, fortress mentality is exhausting. Sometimes you need a space where you can just be without performing power. I follow him into the kitchen, watch him move through the space with the same controlled grace he brings to everything, making tea like it's meditation instead of task. He catches me staring. What? There's amusement in his voice. Nothing. Just, you're very competent at domestic things for someone who runs a criminal empire. The words come out before I can filter them. It's incongruous. Watching you make tea after watching you destroy my ex-boyfriend's ego with surgical precision. I contain multitudes. He's smiling now. People are rarely just one thing. I can be dangerous and domestic, brutal and gentle, terrifying and safe. All of it coexists if you let it instead of forcing yourself into single-dimension performance. Is that what I was doing with Marcus? Performing single-dimension version of myself? The question feels important. You were being who he needed you to be. Reliable, uncomplicated, easy to fit into the life he'd already decided he wanted. Domenico pours tea into 2 mugs, hands me one. That's not the same as being yourself. That's being a supporting character in someone else's story. We move to the couch. He sits close enough that our legs touch, not crowding, but present. I'm cradling the tea, letting the warmth seep into hands that are still cold from standing in the park facing Marcus. I think I knew. The confession comes quietly. Not about Sophie specifically, but that something was wrong, that he was pulling away, that I was trying too hard to be enough for someone who'd already decided I wasn't. Why didn't you leave? He's not judging, just curious. Because leaving meant admitting I'd wasted 3 years, meant starting over alone, meant accepting that I'd been wrong about someone I'd built my entire future around. I'm staring into my tea instead of at him. Staying seemed easier even when staying was slowly killing me. And now, his hand finds my knee, warm weight that grounds me. Now I know that staying would have been slower death. At least the betrayal gave me no choice but to rebuild. I look at him finally. You said something at the restaurant about connection being better than revenge. I think I'm starting to understand what you meant. Tell me. He's watching me with that focused attention that makes me feel like the only person in the world worth hearing. Revenge was satisfying. Walking into that gala with you, watching Marcus realize what he lost, seeing Sophie understand she didn't win anything, all of that felt good in the moment. I set down my tea, turned to face him properly. But this, right now? Sitting in your house drinking tea while you look at me like I'm not broken just because I survived something terrible. This feels better than any revenge ever could. That's because revenge is about them. This is about you. His hand moves from my knee to my face, cups my cheek with touch that's becoming familiar. You spent 6 months letting them control your narrative. Tonight you took it back. Not by hurting them, but by choosing something better. You, the word comes out certain. I chose you, even knowing you're dangerous, even knowing this is complicated, even knowing I'm probably not ready. I chose you anyway. Why? He's asking like he genuinely doesn't understand. You could have anyone, someone safe, someone simple, someone who doesn't come with the complications I bring. Why choose the monster? Because monsters don't pretend to be heroes. I'm using his own words back to him. Because you've been honest about every dark corner and sharp edge. Because when you look at me, you see Isabella who's angry and hurt and rebuilding herself instead of Bella who's supposed to be grateful someone wants her at all. I lean into his touch. Because I'm tired of safe. If safe means invisible, something shifts in his expression, softens and intensifies simultaneously. You're not invisible. You've never been invisible. You're just finally with someone who knows how to actually look. Then he's kissing me, and it's different from the kiss at the gala. Not performed, not proving anything. Just genuine connection between 2 people who've stopped pretending to be anything other than exactly what they are. Broken and dangerous and trying anyway. When we break apart, I'm breathless. He's smiling. Stay tonight. Not a question. A request. In my bed. In my space. Let me prove that choosing me wasn't mistake. I already know it wasn't a mistake, but I'm nodding. But yes, I'll stay. Because going home to my empty apartment sounds terrible. And being here with you sounds perfect. He stands, pulls me up with him, leads me through the house to a bedroom that's as lived in as the rest of the space. Large bed, comfortable furniture, windows that overlook a garden I didn't know existed. He opens a drawer, pulls out a t-shirt. For sleeping, unless you prefer to sleep in that dress which seems uncomfortable, but I won't judge. He's being deliberately casual about offering me clothes, making it normal instead of loaded. T-shirt is perfect. I take it. Where can I change? Bathroom is through there. Take your time. I'll be here when you're ready. He's already pulling off his own tie, unbuttoning his shirt with efficiency that suggests this is routine. I disappear into the bathroom with his T-shirt and my racing heart. Look at myself in the mirror, still wearing the red dress, still wearing makeup that somehow survived the entire evening, still looking like the woman who walked into that gala with power instead of the woman who crawled through 6 months barely surviving. I change quickly. His shirt falls to mid-thigh. Smells like him. Feels like claiming something I'm not sure I have right to claim yet. When I emerge, he's in sleep pants and nothing else, and I have to actively work to not stare at the evidence that he's exactly as dangerous as his reputation suggests. Scars, tattoos, muscle that comes from actual use instead of decorative gym time. You're staring. He sounds amused. You're half naked. Staring seems appropriate. I'm trying for casual, landing somewhere near flustered. Also, you have tattoos. I didn't know that. You haven't seen me without clothes before. Now you have. Mystery solved. He pulls back the covers. Come here. Stop standing in the doorway like you're not sure you're allowed to exist in this space. I cross the room, slip into bed beside him. He pulls me against his chest without asking permission. Just assumes I want to be held and is correct about the assumption. We fit together better than we should, like puzzle pieces that were cut from the same picture. Tell me something. His voice is quiet, intimate in the darkness. Something true, something you haven't told anyone else. Like what? I'm drawing patterns on his chest, tracing the edge of a tattoo that looks like it has story behind it, like whatever you're thinking right now. Unfiltered, honest. The thing you'd normally keep to yourself because it feels too vulnerable to say out loud. His hand is in my hair, playing with the strands absently. I'm quiet for a long moment, deciding if I'm brave enough for this level of honesty. Finally, I'm terrified this is too good to be real, that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and realize I invented the whole thing because I needed so badly to feel wanted, that you're going to change your mind about me once you see past tonight into all the messy, complicated reality of who I actually am day to day. That's a lot of fear for one person to carry. His arms tighten around me. Want to know what I'm terrified of? What? I'm almost afraid to hear. That you're going to realize I'm exactly as terrible as I warned you I am. That the danger isn't romanticized protection, but actual violence you can't unsee. That I'm going to make a decision that proves I'm monster, and you're going to look at me with horror instead of acceptance. He's quiet for beat. That I'm going to fall completely for you, and you're going to leave when you figure out how dark the shadows around me actually get. So we're both terrified. I shift to look at him, both waiting for the other one to run, both convinced we're too broken for this to work. Seems accurate. His smile is slight. Oh, what do we do about that? We stop waiting for disaster and start building something intentionally. The words feel important. We communicate when we're scared. We're honest when something bothers us. We don't let fear make decisions for us the way we've both been doing for years. You make it sound simple. His hand frames my face now. It won't be simple. I'm going to have days where I'm unreachable because what I'm handling is too dark to bring home. You're going to have days where Marcus and Sophie contaminate your ability to trust me. We're going to hurt each other accidentally because we're both still healing. I know, and I do, but we're going to try anyway. Because trying with someone who sees you completely is better than succeeding with someone who only sees the version of you they've decided to accept. When did you get so wise? He's looking at me like I just said something profound instead of obvious. Somewhere between the panic attack in a coffee shop and tonight, you showed me what it looks like to stop performing and start existing. Now I'm just applying that lesson to us. I kiss him, soft and certain. So, yes, I'm staying tonight, tomorrow, as long as this works. And when it stops working, we'll be honest about that too, instead of letting it fester into resentment. Deal. He kisses me back, deeper this time. But fair warning, I don't plan on this stopping working. I plan on figuring out how to make it work even when it's hard. Because you're the first person in a decade who's made me want to try. No pressure then, but I'm smiling. Just two broken people committing to not breaking each other further. Should be easy. Nothing worth having is easy. His hand slides down my back. Still appropriate, but barely. But some things are worth the effort. You're worth the effort. We kiss until kissing becomes something more. Until his hands are exploring and mine are responding, and we're both breathing hard and wanting things we're not quite ready to take. He stops first, pulls back with control that must cost him. Not tonight. His voice is rough. Tonight is about choosing, about connection, about proving we can exist together without needing to rush through every milestone because we're afraid it won't last. Tomorrow, next week, whenever you're ready. But tonight we just sleep. Together, safe, building foundation before we add complications. You're very disciplined for someone who looks like they want to devour me. I'm trying to catch my breath. I want to devour you. Completely. Thoroughly. In ways that will make you forget anyone existed before me. His smile is dangerous. but I want you sure, want you ready. Want you choosing me without any reservations about whether this was too fast or too soon, or any of the doubts that come when you let physical connection outpace emotional foundation. That's surprisingly thoughtful for a criminal. I'm settling back against his chest. Also frustrating, but mostly thoughtful. I contain multitudes. He repeats his earlier line. Now sleep. You've had a long night. Tomorrow we figure out what comes next. But tonight you just rest knowing you're safe here. With me. Always with me if you'll have me. I'm drifting. Exhausted from the emotional roller coaster of confronting my past while building my future. His heartbeat is steady under my ear. His breathing is even. His arms are solid around me like fortress that's choosing to protect instead of imprison. Domenico, I'm half asleep already. Yes. His voice is quiet. Almost gone. Thank you. For the coffee shop. For tonight, for seeing me when everyone else was looking through me, for being exactly what I needed even when I didn't know I needed it. The words come out slurred with exhaustion. You saved me, maybe not in the dramatic rescue way, but in the quieter way of just being present while I saved myself. You saved yourself. I just stood beside you while you did. He kisses the top of my head. Now sleep. Tomorrow starts our actual story, the one that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with us. I fall asleep in his arms feeling safer than I have in years, not because he's dangerous enough to destroy anything that threatens me, but because he's honest enough to let me decide if danger is price worth paying for genuine connection. And somewhere between the gala and this moment, between revenge and tea, and honest conversation about fear and future, I decided it is worth it. All of it. Marcus and Sophie can have their stolen happiness built on lies and betrayal, can have their relationship that started in darkness and will probably end there too. I have something better, something real, something that started with honesty about who we are and is building toward something neither of us can predict, but both of us are willing to try for. In the morning, I'll wake up in his bed, we'll have coffee, we'll talk about what comes next, about logistics and boundaries and how to navigate relationship between someone straight and someone who definitely isn't. But tonight, I just sleep, peaceful, safe, home. Because home isn't where you live, it's where someone sees all your broken pieces and decides they fit perfectly with their own. And I'm home, finally, completely home. 3 months later, I'm in that same bed when my phone buzzes with Instagram notification. Sophie posted something. I almost don't look, almost just delete it without seeing because their lives don't matter to mine anymore. But curiosity wins. I open it. It's a photo of Marcus, alone. Caption reads, "Sometimes people grow apart, wishing him well on his journey, choosing myself. Growth is painful but necessary." They broke up. The relationship that destroyed me lasted exactly 9 months before imploding under weight of its own dysfunction. Part of me wants to feel vindicated, wants to laugh, wants to send that screenshot to everyone who said I should forgive them because they were clearly in love. Instead, I just delete the notification. Block Sophie, for real this time. Turn to Domenico, who's reading beside me like this is normal, like us being together in his bed on random Tuesday is just life now instead of miracle. They broke up. I say it casual, testing how I feel. Who? He doesn't even look up from his book. Marcus and Sophie. She just posted about it. Very dramatic, very choosing herself. I'm watching his reaction. Thought you'd want to know. Don't care. He sets down his book finally, looks at me. Do you care? No. And I realize it's true. I actually don't care at all. They're just people I used to know who made choices I've moved past. Their relationship ending doesn't affect me at all. Good. He pulls me against him. Because I have much more interesting things for you to think about than your ex-boyfriend's failed relationship. Oh, really? Like what? I'm smiling now. Like the fact that I'm falling in love with you. Actually in love. The kind that makes me rearrange my whole life to accommodate you. The kind that makes me want to be better than I am. The kind that terrifies and excites me in equal measure. He's looking at me with complete sincerity. And I need to know if you're feeling anything remotely similar or if I'm alone in this. My heart stops. You're not alone. Good. He kisses me. Now stop thinking about them and focus on us, because we're building something worth focusing on. So I do. Stop thinking about Marcus, about Sophie, about revenge and betrayal and all the pain that brought me to the coffee shop where everything changed. And I focus on Domenico, on the life we're building, on the fact that sometimes the best revenge isn't hurting the people who hurt you. It's becoming so happy they become irrelevant to your story entirely. And I'm happy. Actually, genuinely happy. Not because they're miserable, but because I chose better, and better chose me back.
WOOOW? What was that story? Here we see that the best revenge really is being happy while they become irrelevant. After all, something only has power over you because you care about it. So now, let's move on to the channel's favorite segment. Don't go anywhere, because this is where you discover tricks and secrets you won't see anywhere else. For example, cheating with a sibling is more common and more destructive than you think. I did the research, and the statistic is shocking. 18% of affairs involve a family member. 2023 study. Siblings especially, rivalry, more excess, more familiarity equals the perfect storm. From a psychology perspective, a younger sister often feels like she's always the second choice. Stealing the boyfriend becomes a twisted way of finally winning. In our story, Sophie's chronic envy plus Marcus being weak equals a classic destructive combination. And recovery takes 2 to 3 times longer than normal cheating because it's a double loss: partner plus family. In gala culture and power dynamics, how do they actually work? Charity galas are social status theater, disguised as charity. Who you bring is a statement about your own social value. So Isabella bringing a don equals a power move everyone understands instantly. Seating, arrival timing, who talks to whom, everything is choreographed. In this story, everyone stopping when they enter is a realistic reaction to a don showing up. Because bringing a controversial date to a gala is a real tactic to reclaim the narrative socially. This story isn't about revenge. It's about choice. Isabella spent 6 months asking, "What did I do wrong?" when the real question was, "Why did I accept being treated as disposable?" Marcus didn't leave her for her sister because Sophie was better. He left because Isabella was complicated. She worked too much. She had ambition. She had a personality. And he wanted someone who existed around him without demanding that he grow. Sophie didn't win anything. She only proved she knows how to steal things that aren't valuable. Their relationship imploded in 9 months because it was built on lies from the start. But the part that really gets me? It's Domenico. He was paid to watch her, hired by the ex-boyfriend to confirm she wasn't a threat. And he saw her having a panic attack alone in a cafe, gave the money back, and sat with her because he wanted to. Not because she was beautiful, not because he wanted something, but because he recognized in her the same anger he carried, the same refusal to be diminished, the same fire beneath the pain. The revenge was bringing him to the gala, but the healing was realizing in the middle of that revenge that she wasn't looking at them anymore. She was looking at him, at the man who saw her broken and said, "You're not broken, you're pissed, and that's better." 3 months later, they broke up, Marcus and Sophie. A relationship built on betrayal died exactly the way it deserved. And Isabella? She didn't even care, because they had become irrelevant to her story. The best revenge isn't destroying the people who hurt you. It's building a life so good they turn into a footnote. It's choosing someone who chooses you back without you having to beg for scraps of attention. It's realizing you deserved more before someone had to prove it to you. And when someone finally does, it's having the courage to accept it even when you're scared. If you're reading this and you're still stuck on "why wasn't I enough?" stop. The real question is, why did I accept someone who made me feel insufficient? You are enough. You always were. You were just with the wrong people who convinced you otherwise. Now go. Block who needs to be blocked. Wear the red dress, reclaim your narrative, and choose better. You deserve someone who chooses you without making you compete for basic attention. The next story is coming, darling. Until next time, Lena.